Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing a real deep dive, a forensic analysis of the Tafsir or exegesis of Surah Al-Qasas by Ayatollah Javadi Amoli. We're going to break down the very first verses of the story of Moses, really unpacking all the layers of meaning in this absolutely foundational text. All right, so this right here, this is our source material. This detailed verse-by-verse analysis is the foundation for everything we're about to unpack. We're going to use it as our guide to pull out every key argument and nuance. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We've got 6 key areas to cover. We'll kick things off with Pharaoh's whole campaign of oppression and build our way up to the incredible interplay between divine and human will. Okay, first up, Pharaoh's arrogance and oppression. We're going to look at the exact language the Qur'an uses to describe his tyranny because, as the author shows, that's where so much of the meaning is hidden. This really sets the stage for everything that follows. And here it is. This verse is the absolute heart of the conflict. The author immediately dives into the specific words used here, showing us that what Pharaoh did wasn't just, being a bad guy. It was a system of corruption, deeply embedded and methodical. So the author points to this one word, orlu, and this is so key. We're not just talking about having political power. This is described as a kind of spiritual sickness, this tyrannical arrogance, this self-exaltation. It's the mindset of someone who sees themselves as the ultimate authority, which is a direct challenge to the divine order. Then the analysis breaks down how he did it with this term, istidaf. And listen, this isn't just random oppression. No, this is a calculated, systematic process of making a group of people weak. Pharaoh literally sliced society into factions and zeroed in on the children of Israel to just break them down, to strip them of any power, agency, or hope they had. Okay, so you have this immense oppression. What's the response? Well, according to the text, it's not just a reaction. It's presented as a divine will that was always running in direct opposition to everything Pharaoh stood for. The key here, as the author points out, is right there in the language. The verse kicks off with, "and we wanted," or "wanuridu." That phrase is everything. It's a direct, powerful countermove to what Pharaoh is doing. It sets up this cosmic clash of wills. And this table just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's a perfect contrast. Pharaoh's entire game plan is to weaken, to subjugate, to control. The divine will, it's the complete opposite. It's about giving favor, lifting people up to be leaders, and making them the inheritors. It is a total 180-degree reversal of Pharaoh's entire oppressive system. And then there's this next layer of, profound irony that the author highlights. God's plan isn't just about rescuing the oppressed. It's about using the oppressed as the very tool to bring about the oppressor's worst nightmare. I mean, think about it. The very thing Pharaoh feared, a boy being born, becomes the very agent of his downfall. And right here, the story pivots hard. We pull back from this huge cosmic struggle between God and a tyrant, and we zoom right into the heart of one woman, Moses' mother, facing an absolutely impossible choice. So this verse describes divine inspiration, a wahi, that comes to her. And the command it contains, it sounds completely counterintuitive, right? It's a total paradox. To save your baby from being killed, you have to throw him into a river. The author breaks this down beautifully into 4 parts, and the structure is just fascinating. You get 2 actions: suckle him and then cast him into the river. And they're immediately followed by 2 commands about emotion: do not fear and do not grieve. Can you even imagine the kind of trust you'd need to follow that, to override every single parental instinct you have? So that's the big question, right? How on earth could a mother do that? And the author tackles this head-on. The answer, according to this analysis, is all about understanding the different ways our minds can work. The author gives us this incredible framework for understanding that internal battle. See, it's not just about gritting your teeth and ignoring your feelings. It's about which part of your intellect is calling the shots. And this distinction is the core of the argument right here. On one side, you've got what the author calls the instrumental intellect. That's your everyday, logical, calculating mind that analyzes cause and effect. And to that mind, baby plus river equals disaster. It leads to fear, to paralysis. But then, there's the divine intellect. This is the part of you that's lit up by inspiration. It sees a bigger picture, trusts in a divine promise, and it acts with total confidence, even when it makes no logical sense. And that one act, that incredible leap of faith,
It's the catalyst for the story's greatest twist. The baby, cast away to be saved, is now floating straight into the lion's den.
And there it is, the stunning reversal. Pharaoh's own family, the very people enforcing his murderous decree, end up rescuing the child who will bring about their downfall. And notice the wording the author points to, so that he would become to them an enemy and a sorrow. It's not an accident. The text frames it as a divinely intended consequence of their action, completely separate from what they thought they were doing.
And here's a detail the author says is absolutely critical. The Qur'an doesn't just point the finger at Pharaoh, it names names. Pharaoh, his top advisor Haman, and their soldiers. They're all called khati'in, wrongdoers. This isn't just one bad apple, it's a rotten system. The entire state apparatus is complicit in this evil.
Okay, so let's put it all together now. We've seen the political machine of oppression, a divine counterpromise, an individual's incredible act of faith, and this massive irony. The author shows how these threads all weave into one powerful statement about power, will, and destiny. This slide really crystallizes the whole analysis. You see Pharaoh's plan, meticulous, brutal, using the full power of the state to wipe out a perceived threat. And then you see God's plan, subtle, using the trust of a mother and the arrogance of an enemy to achieve something far, far greater. It's a powerful message. No matter how big and powerful human plans seem, they are always playing out on a much larger stage, within the framework of divine providence. So in the end, Ayatollah Amoli's incredibly detailed breakdown of just these few verses goes way beyond a simple story. It leaves us wrestling with this huge, timeless question. In the grand scheme of things, in the sweep of history, how do our actions, our choices, our big political plans, how do they fit in with a divine will that might be shaping the final picture? And that is the question this analysis leaves us to think about.